In this video, we'll be taking a look at the various orders and pre-orders for Chainsaw Man figures. Let's go! First we have Bandai Spirits with their Figuarts Zero lineup. A Chainsaw Man figure with a very dynamic pose, jumping and slashing in the air atop a pile of gore and guts. The figure exudes pure violence in line with the anime. Of special note is the translucent jets of blood all over the figure, as well as the blood splatters on the chainsaw blades, which add a nice touch. The blades themselves are quite detailed, with the chain and each spike clearly visible. The head is nicely detailed, with the eyelid up, and overall many details are visibly going from strands in the neck to the shirt and the belt and buckle. The only downside is that the figure is non-scale, but with a price tag of 8,500 yen you get a very nicely looking, detailed, dynamic figure at an affordable price. Next, we take a look at goodsmilecompany's offering with their popupparade line. These figures famously strive to offer better quality than, but at the same price of, price figures, and their Chainsaw Man fits the bill. Although a step down from Figuarts Zero, the figure is still pretty detailed and has a pose that matches the fierceness of the character. The chainsaws are still pretty detailed, more so than price figures, and we have blood splatters over the saws and arms. The head is pretty detailed as well, with no light up eyes, but with a mouth that is open and a tongue sticking out. A nice touch. Relatively little shading is applied on the clothes, but for a price tag of 4,364 yen, this is the most affordable, non-scale figure on sale. Interesting to note is that the denji figure will also be released in the same line with a similarly affordable price, making for an interesting cheap combo for fans who want both versions on display. Moving on, we have Kotobukiya with their ArtFx J line. They offer a 1/8 scale Chainsaw Man with a pretty dynamic pose standing atop rubble. The rubble is pretty detailed with pieces of concrete, twisted steel and a destroyed wooden table. Chainsaw Man himself then, again we have detailed and bloody chainsaws with a nice metallic finish. Very realistic blood smears are visible on his shirt, shoes and arms as well. A very pretty detail, and it's really nice to see that there is sufficient shading on the clothing. As is often the case with Kotobukiya, collectors who pre-order will be able to get an additional head sculpt, this time one with open mouth and tongue sticking out. Both head sculpts are nicely detailed as well. This figure will retail for 16,800 yen. Moving over to SEGA's sfire line, we have a similarly themed Chainsaw Man priced at 23,500 yen, again standing atop a pile of rubble with concrete steel bars and some guts splattered here and there. The figure itself is similarly detailed as with the Kotobukiya figure, with a bit more shading on the chainsaws. Here we have only a single head sculpt with open mouth and tongue sticking out. On the chainsaws and arms we also see some blood smears, but I believe Kotobukiya has this one beaten in that regard, with more realistic blood also spread over the clothes and shoes. As far as blood and head sculpt goes, Kotobukiya has the more appealing offering, whereas sfire has an edge on the pose and rumble. Two very similar offerings, with sfire having a bit taller figure with a 1/7 scale compared to the 1/8 scale figure of Kotobukiya. Now it's time to move on to the top two offerings with what is the best PVC figure offering in my opinion, Shibuyascramble figure from Estream. This 1/7 scale figure has it all. We get a very detailed figure, both as far as the head sculpt and the body is concerned, with plenty of detail and shading. There's plenty of blood smears all over the figure, but it looks incredibly realistic. Darker tints where needed, lighter tints where there was less blood, and the smears look very natural. The chainsaws offer the best detail and shading of all the PVC figures on sale, in my opinion, and the head sculpt is nicely detailed with a half open mouth and plenty of intricate lines and shading on the neck and face. The eyes are just barely visible, giving an extra layer of authenticity, and finally, the pose is exquisite. It is an exact reproduction of the cover of the first manga volume, with Chainsaw Man standing atop a pile of decapitated zombie bodies and some incredibly dynamic blood splattering all over the place. The torn off guts, still clinging to the blades, offer a nice touch, adding the illusion of movement as well. Collectors who pre-order will also have a chance to get an additional Pochita PVC minifigure. All things considered, if you're looking for the best PVC figure of Chainsaw Man out there, look no further, but it is also the most expensive one, retailing at 42,000 yen. Taking into consideration my budget and shelf space, this will be the one on my pre-order list, so look forward to the unboxing of this figure on this channel. Finally, we have Prime One's offering in their Ultimate Premium Masterline, the only statue in this lineup of officially licensed figures. This is the only resin statue, and it does do the name Ultimate justice. There will be no less than 3 different versions of this statue released, so let's go over them, starting with the basic version. Here we get a Chainsaw Man in resin statue form at 1/4 scale. A hulking mass of blood and gore with details that put all the other offerings to shame. Taking a closer look at the base, we can see it is actually part of Chainsaw Man's helmet, from which blood and decapitated zombies spring forth. Here already we get a tremendous amount of details with intricately sculpted zombies and very dynamic blood splatters all over the base. Moving up, we can see Chainsaw Man himself in a pose similar to the Shibuyascramble figure pose, again taken almost directly from the cover of the first manga volume. The chainsaws look realistic, detailed and worn from combat, with plenty of blood dripping from them. Chainsaw Man's clothes are incredibly detailed, surpassing even the original anime and manga, where the threads of the clothes are visible here. The head sculpt is finely detailed with plenty of shading and some metallic finish with wear and tear, adding to the realism. The mouth and teeth look very natural, yet still faithful to the original. Of special note are the eyes, which are actually LED powered, giving you the possibility to display the statue with lit up eyes or without, adding an additional flair to the statue. The tears on his shirt and pants, as well as the blood smears, add a final layer of realism, making this statue almost come to life. 153,900 yen is a hefty price tag, but you get your money's worth. Those willing to shell out 195,900 yen can get the DX version, which is the exact same as the previous, but you get bonus parts allowing you to change Chainsaw Man into denji. You get no less than 1 additional right arm, 2 additional left arms, one with a clenched fist, the other pulling the chainsaw cord as he transforms, as well as 3 additional heads, 1 Chainsaw Man head with the tongue sticking out, and 2 denji heads, 1 grinning and 1 with the tongue sticking out. For the higher price, you do get plenty of additional parts, so you can change your statue in various forms. Finally, for the same price, you can get the DXS version, which is the exact same as the previously mentioned DX version, except Prime One also throws in an additional mini statue of Pochita. A really cute addition, making for a very complete set. Clearly, if you ask me, this DXS version is the one to get if you are a hardcore fan of the series, provided you have the money and available shelf space to give this magnificent statue a home. And that's the roundup for all the orders and pre-orders that are up for Chainsaw Man figures. The definitive version is of course the Prime 1 DXS 1/4 scale statue, but considering my budget and available display space, I'll be opting for what is in my opinion the best PVC offering, the Shibuyascramble figure at 1/7 scale. Look forward to the unboxing on this channel. So, which is your favorite and which one will you be getting? Please let me know in the comments below, and hope to see you all in the next video.